talk about the Sunday nighter. Pittsburgh Steelers 7-8, 4-4 on the road. Have a pulse. Baltimore Ravens 10-5, 5-2 at home at M&T Bank Stadium. Baltimore, Maryland 53 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. This total is very low, and I'm very excited about this football game. First off, Ravens open up at -4. They're now -3. Totals wise, opened up at 36.5, has dropped to 35.5 at Pinnacle, but that 35.5 is juiced. Cash wise, we have just, where is it? I guess it was the flexed game. So we have 2,484 tickets in, 74% of the tickets, 98% of the cash on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a public dog on our hands. 66% of tickets, 60% of cash on the under. Steelers come in off a big last-second 13-10 home win over the Raiders 3 days after the death of Franco Harris, the night where they're retiring his jersey. It was pretty magical. They've now won 5 of 7. Kenny Pickett, 26 of 39 for 244 yards, touchdown, interception. I needed the drive. I cashed with the Steelers. I needed it. Frymouth caught 7 for 66. Deontay Johnson, 55 for 64. And George Pickens, 5 for 57, a touchdown. Najee Harris looked good. I never know what he's going to look like. He's a pretty Jekyll and Hyde kind of a running back. 16 carries for 53 yards, caught 6 for 42. And the Steelers' offense is playing much better. 5.4 yards per snap. It's not really showing with the points. I mean, their average is 17 points per game over the last 3, but it looks better. I mean, not in the red zone, but overall. And the defense completely shut down the Raiders' offense. Completely. Held the Raiders to 201 total yards, 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, intercepted Carr 3 times. Trey Norwood, cornerback, left in the first half with a hamstring injury. I couldn't get an update at this point. Baltimore comes in off a 17-9 home win over the Falcons to officially clinch a playoff spot. Huntley, 9 of 17 for 115 yards, touchdown, no picks. They've won 2 of 3 since Lamar Jackson went down with a knee injury. And they're expecting Lamar Jackson to return to practice. But he is someone who's playing it very cautiously in the contract year. I wonder what your lean is towards whether he's going to play or not. The Ravens have averaged 11.5 points in the games that Huntley has played. Mark Andrews got 3 for 45. Gus ran 11 for 99. J.K. Dobbins ran 12 for 59. They ran 34 times for 184 yards. They've outrushed their opponent in 14 straight games. That's a franchise record. The margin was at 184, 115. They only produced 299 yards, but it was enough. The defense held the Falcons to 0-4 for the red zone and 5 for 14 on third down. Of course, they were without Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters, a defensive end and quarterback, respectively, and they're going to stay out. The defense finished with 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. So we watched the Steelers, and this is part of the reason why I backed them, but we watched the Steelers shut down the Panthers' running game, and they do it in spectacular fashion. Can they do the same thing here in Baltimore? And do you think Lamar Jackson will be under center? Tons of moving parts. Take it away, Andy.
They are being very mum about this. Like, Harbaugh's being a dick, honestly. Like, he's going full Belichick on this. Just like, I don't know. Like, we're just, we'll have to see, I think was part of the quote, which is annoying at best. Like, I get it, it's gamesmanship and you have everything to play for. The Baltimore Ravens can still win the division. Like, while they're playing the Steelers at home, their opponents in the North, the Bengals, have to go play the Bills. Like, they can absolutely end up in a tie for the division if things go chalk on this weekend. But if it is, yeah, I'm leaning like 70-30. It's Huntley. Maybe I'm even high on that 30% that Lamar plays. The fact that he's even talking about practicing makes me a little hopeful, but I do think it's Huntley. Baltimore has been the nails against the run. That said, I've liked what Pittsburgh's done in this nice little, I don't call it a winning streak. I guess there's a little bit of a winning streak, but a streak where they've played better. They've been able to get it done through the air. Like you said, Freiermuth is a big part of things. Deontay Johnson is a legit wide receiver 1. He's a threat. So there's something to be said for the Baltimore Ravens might be stopping the run, but we'll see. I mean, they're an average team against the passing game right now. So Pittsburgh super live in this one. If it's Huntley, I don't think it should be a full 3 here. So no bet until we know. I don't want to be betting on a quarterback starting or not, essentially. Is what you're doing at this point. So it's a tough ass divisional game with a total of 36. I'm jacked that they put this on primetime, honestly.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no move. I'll be live betting, obviously betting the second half, but like Kenny Pickett was decent. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was decent in the game against the Raiders. And we've seen this for a few weeks now. Steelers money is coming in from public and sharp. I mean, you're seeing a definite love for the Steelers in the market every week now.
So if Huntley is announced in, where does the line go?
I'm not sure. It's so hard to move off this 3. I think this 3 is kind of assuming that Lamar is very unlikely. I'm not sure it moves a ton.
And I will be live for this game New Year's night. We have a ton of football on New Year's Day, and I'll be hosting the Pub Hub in the morning, and then we'll have this game at night. What can I ask? Let's say Huntley's at quarterback. What exactly would you be looking for? Like, what's the best case scenario early for you? An early touchdown so you could move on the under the better number, or no scoring in the first quarter so you could go over 26, 25? What are you looking for?
No, and it's so hard to just say, oh, there was an early touchdown, I'm going to bet the under now. You gotta kind of put a little context to what happened. Was it, oh, they just had a great, it was more based on great field position off a fluky return, or it was a fun defensive touchdown. The offenses have looked kind of like shite so far. If it's, I don't think that was scripted plays. They definitely found something against this run defense, and I'm not just going to blindly bet that under. But if we get some flukiness early on and there's some points, I could be talked into an under. This teams know each other well. There's probably going to be some decent defensive adjustments.
I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brady says Raiders D is god awful, and he got 13 points, granted a few missed field goals. I'm having a hard time getting behind Pickett, says Brady. And look, they're moving the ball, but they're not looking good in the red zone with Pickett. So there's tons of moving parts. It's going to be a real fun game.
That was the thing. Like they had a decent chunk of yardage against that team. They only got in the red zone once.
Yeah, it was wild, but we got the cash. I'm excited about this game. Very excited. Sunday night live bet stream right here on Pub Sports Radio.